All right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting episode of the R&R Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Jones, along with my co-host, the one, the only, the incomprehensible and inconceivable Randy Watkins.
What up? What up? Brah, brah. How you doing, Robert?
I'm good. It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Yeah,
you
man.
know,
It's been a couple of
worldwide tour. Yeah, it has. Well, it's it tends to be the tendency for the show, but we have lots of news, so we should probably hop right on in it. So, how about you hit us with some of that hot NFL trade action?
Hot steamy action.
Oh, it's pretty hot.
Some free agency frenzy over the last, I would say, 3 days this week. Lots going on, man. Lots of people moving and shuffling. One of the biggest was out of New York yesterday when the Giants traded OBJ to the Browns.
Yeah, man. And didn't they just pay him like 7 months ago?
Yeah, I was trying to look up the contract earlier.
They had just signed like a brand new contract with him. What a bunch of idiots. Well, not a bunch of idiots.
Long ago.
Yeah. Well, and they're taking a big thump for doing this. They owe him like $12 million this year, which is that they're still paying and they don't get anything from him. I don't get it, man. Gettleman blows up another team, you know. Our mutual friend Chris made a post today to all of his New Yorker fans and said, for those of us who derided us in Panthers country, you now know how it feels.
Oh, you're right, man. 2018, 5-year, $90 million, included a $20 million signing bonus. And of that, $65 million was guaranteed.
Yep. And now he's going to the Browns.
So the way I understand it is the Browns are the ones that will have to absorb the rest of that contract, which would be 4 more years, right?
Sure. But there's money that New York still owes him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The whole NFL contracts and the cap space and the hit that's going to happen, dude. Yeah, I don't understand all of it. But the Giants get a 2019 first and third round pick in the draft, and also Jabril Peppers, who was Jabril Peppers.
No, sorry, who? Jabril sounds like a toothpaste.
Jabril.
You got to use that Jabril. That really cleans out your gums, Randy. You know.
He was a Michigan safety. Was playing for Cleveland. I don't know how he did last year, but at any rate, they didn't get much for OBJ. I think the Giants lost out on this one. But Cleveland is looking good, man, with Baker Mayfield. You got Nick Chubb at running back, OBJ, and Jarvis Landry across the field from him, 2 old LSU teammates. I thought that was interesting.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the Giants are screwed. They're in deep doo-doo. I don't know how that makes sense. And they're still sticking with Eli, who they should have traded for was Baker Mayfield.
Right. Get a quarterback. They haven't done that, which we all know they're probably going after one in the draft. I mean, they've got a high enough draft pick that.
Yeah, but like you can't count on a rookie quarterback saving the day.
They're all doing it.
I know,
they
but
don't want to
sit. Tired of it. Yeah,
these first rounders. I mean, the mantra is you're selected to start. Basically, you're not sitting anymore. I think that era of sitting behind a Brett Favre or Peyton Manning and learning, or Drew Brees and learning for 3 years, 4 years to be thrust in the spotlight's over, man. Because the teams at the top are terrible, and it's. They need these quarterbacks immediately.
True. But still, I mean, I wonder long term what that's going to be like. I feel like you'll see a lot of guys wind up in the American Alliance of Football.
Yeah, that's why it's either boom or bust out of these first rounders.
Speaking of which, man, I'm a bad fan of it, but I caught the last minute and a half of a game last week between, I think it was San Diego and Salt Lake City. And San Diego won on a game-winning 45-yard field goal, and I was enthralled. It was a last minute down to the wire. It was good football.
Awesome. I mean, with Bill Polian as one of the co-founders, a man who has been around football, synonymous with football for how many? I mean, years. It's bound to take off. And what I'm glad to see, Robert, is that it may turn out to be a minor league for the NFL. So
Well, I mean,
they may sign an official, make it official, a contract.
Yeah. I mean, and Tom Dundon, who's now the chairman of the American Alliance of Football, has said as much that that's what he wants to do. Before he agreed to kind of buy him out, he had a discussion with what's his name, Roger Goodell.
Yeah.
Beforehand, just kind of talking about like, hey, if this league's going to last, we need to figure something out down the road. Of course, players that do well there, it's an opportunity for them to, get onto a practice squad or earn their way onto the big time.
Right.
Just like the farm league is in
Right.
Major League Baseball.
Right. Yeah, I hope it works out. They've long needed that system because you can only have so many people still on a roster, and if it doesn't work out, they're on a practice squad, and you can only have so many people on the practice squad. So
True.
I think it's great for all those players that have an incredible amount of talent and just need that extra playing time to make their dream come true.
I'll tell you what, selfishly as a football fan, it gives me something to watch in the spring, which I like.
Yeah.
Now, Bree hates it.
Oh yeah, more football.
That's right, more football. But Atticus,
I will say it is tough to watch on Saturdays. That's for sure. Just think of it synonymously as being on football or Sundays.
Yeah, but so it goes. All right, we got another big trade. Basically, the Pittsburgh Steelers are just blown up. They're another team that's going to have to go into rebuild mode, don't you think?
Oh yeah, I think so. With getting rid of Le'Veon Bell, who officially signed with the Jets today, 4 years, $52 million, and Antonio Brown to the Raiders. They are completely in rebuild mode, it seems like.
Interesting thing about Le'Veon Bell, I'm glad you have a note on this. It looks like he really cost himself some money by not playing this year.
Yeah.
In a big way. And I'll tell you what, who hurt his odds was Gurley, because Gurley got max contract at the beginning of the season, and Gurley got hurt. Rams didn't get their top dollar, and they had a lot of guaranteed money for him, which really hurt Bell out on the market.
It really did. And an aging quarterback, he's 30 years old. His value is about to just continues to decline. I mean, he's a declining asset. And when he went out last year, he was looking somewhere around 17, 18 million a year.
Yeah.
Which was unheard of for a 30-year-old quarterback.
Who are we talking about?
Sorry, running back.
Running back. Yeah. Right.
Le'Veon. It's okay.
I was like,
thanks.
I mean, he got nowhere. He's probably a better quarterback than Eli Manning now,
but he got just shy of 13 million. I mean, you're right. The holdout did nothing for him. He got $5 million less a year. So, and the Steelers were attacking him more than that for last season at 14.5.
Yep.
So, he got suspended, a couple of times. And the word on the street is that not many teams wanted him, Robert.
So,
I think he thought there would be a lot more suitors out there given his talent. And he is extremely talented.
But he's on the old side.
Yeah. Just a 30 the time is not on the running back side.
Yep. Running back, you've got 6 years to make your money. 6 years. And it's 23 to 29 or 24 to 30, but that's your time. And if you're trying to get max contract at the end of that, good luck.
Yeah. And he just, I think he missed his time there for sure.
Here's the deal, though. He's not going to hurt for anything as long as he takes care of his money and invests. I mean, he's got more money than you and I'll ever see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, he does pretty well for himself.
I try not to feel too bad for these, overpaid babies, really.
Yes. It's funny you say that because I was reading about Adrian Peterson and
coming back to the Skins.
Yeah, apparently. Coming back to the
Red contract.
Yeah, 2-year contract, and it's something like
$8 million max.
Yeah, something like $8 million max, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you look back over his career; he's made almost $100 million just playing in the NFL
as a running back. And you got to remember, he missed a season or two.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Who obviously is a first ballot Hall of Famer who may find himself in the top 5 in rushing yards this year all time. He's 8th on the list currently, but he could
Wow,
pass 3 more people this year.
that's
Um,
impressive.
but it's funny you say it's funny you say that because he's made his money. He's
Yeah,
34 and he's not getting max deals anymore because the risk just is too great for
yeah.
paying someone like that. Antonio Brown, I was shocked, honestly, to see the
That was
Raiders in
that
there.
was the real steal.
Yeah, they got him for nothing, a
Yeah,
third
and a fifth
and a
round pick.
fifth rounder. Who Antonio Brown could go down as arguably one of the best receivers of all time. Still got a ways to go, but he is a great one of our era.
I'll tell you
Robert,
what, man.
he's our
Watch out.
era.
Watch out for the Raiders. The
Yeah,
Raiders.
the
We
Raiders.
made fun of them, but man, they're adding some key pieces. I'd watch out for them, and they have like what 3 first round picks this year?
Yeah,
3.
yeah,
That's
I think so.
yeah. John Gruden's
I think
salivating
so.
over that.
Yep.
Seriously, Raiders and the Browns are the 2 teams to watch out for. That I think people aren't ready to be good again.
And you got Gruden, but you also got Mike Mayock, who knows talent, and that
right.
they have started building a team. And I mean, it started with the Khalil Mack trade, which everyone scratched their heads about, but that's how they gain these picks. So, they may be able to turn it around and do something with it.
The other thing you got to keep in mind too is that a lot of times it's not just money. It really does boil down to culture. I think that's one of the reasons why Le'Veon Bell had such a hard time finding a team was because teams didn't want him there. It's the same issue Terrell Owens had. Terrell Owens had this mentality of like he'd locker room cancer. We don't want him in here.
I think the holdouts, because I remember a couple years ago he held out all of camp. And then he showed up. He showed up for the season. Well, that shit sticks out in people's minds. And you're right. That's why T.O. couldn't find a team at the end. And he was in great shape for years.
He still is in great shape. I was watching that guy do push-ups on a video a week or 2 ago, and it's just like, how is he still so ripped?
He is.
It's
disgusting.
In good shape. It's disgusting. He's like a racehorse. He really is just like a racehorse. And last of the really big, shocking, well, not really shocking things is Nick Foles goes to the Jags, which I think you and I called. I think we talked about potential landing spots for him, and it made sense for him to wind up with the Jags.
It did.
What doesn't make sense is he's got $50 million guaranteed.
That did not make sense.
It's a huge contract.
Yeah, for an unproven like starter year in and year out, that's huge. He's been a backup his whole career. And now you're going to put him on the Jags have a really good team. They could make something happen. So I'll be interested to see, but that's big money.
You could argue the one thing that they were really missing up till now is a dynamite quarterback because they got to an AFC freaking championship game.
Yeah.
2 seasons
they did.
ago.
They did, and they had a great defense, and they fell flat last year. So we'll see what that does for them. That doesn't always make the difference, i.e., the Vikings from this year. So that happens.
Here's the other thing too, and you've seen this as well as I do. You give somebody that max contract, and they're just not as hungry. Their performance drops off. I don't know what it is. Well, I mean, I guess I know what it is. It's you got your money. I got mine. Who cares?
Right.
Honestly, I think you see. So here's 2 other sports where that's a big problem, and it's golf and NASCAR. And we don't think of those as like, well, max contract. It's not like they, have big contracts of pay. They get paid to win. The problem is that drivers and golfers make a tremendous amount of money, not from their winnings, but through their sponsorships. And so you see these golfers that never have the drive or the passion to try and win on Sunday because they're making good money. They're still making, a couple $1 million a year off of sponsorships. You're not chasing a $2 million purse if you're comfortable.
Right.
That's why the people like, the Rory McIlroys, the Tiger Woods, those guys are so interesting because they had the drive to want to have to win.
Some players just want to be in the game. They don't need to be at the top. They just want to stay in there, stay in as long as they can. and
see,
make as much money while they can.
I think you and I probably feel this way about our own professions. It's a living.
Mhm.
We want to do good and we want to do good work, but it's like I don't want to be the biggest realtor in the world. I have no interest in being that. I just want to do good work and provide for my family. And if I was a
Mhm.
professional golfer or a professional racer, I'd try and stay safe, stay out from getting injured, and make enough to provide for my family.
Right. Makes sense.
But see, that's why the people who are at the high echelons of that performance, they're basically all psychopaths. They're being driven by something other than money.
It's true. That's very true. We can agree that is Tiger Woods for sure.
He's being driven by something. All them tattooed honeys in each spot. Goodness gracious.
A couple of pieces of news for our teams. The Redskins landed Landon Collins and Case Keenum.
Case Keenum, yeah.
Keenum is more of an insurance plan, but Landon Collins is I thought a great signing. One of the top upper echelon safeties. And I remember when he came out, he said, most people say, yeah, I just want to be in the NFL when they're asked what team you want to go to when they're being interviewed and stuff. He said, no, his dream was to play for the Redskins. So I'll be interested to see how he does. I've always liked him. I wanted us to draft him in 2015, but he didn't fall far enough in the second round. So, but they got paid, man. They really paid him $45 million guaranteed, big money. Yeah. So, wow. He's now the highest paid safety in the league.
Better perform.
But he's young. He's young, so that's the good thing. He's not even. He just turned 25, I think.
Wow.
So,
they're investing
you can have him for a long time. Yeah, exactly. And the way they structured it, Robert, was incredible. So the way they structured this deal was for I think 84 million over 6 years. It's a long-term deal. But after 3 years, the Redskins can opt out of it and only lose 6 million in dead cap space. So they can be under it within 3 years and not kill their team for the next 6 years. So if things don't work out, I thought that was a great move by the organization. So
I'll tell you who I'm proud of is my Panthers finally getting rid of these squeaky wheels and instead of giving them the grease. Why, oh why, we have middling players who we give max contracts to. That Devin Funchess has had a case of the drops for 5 years. Why they paid him any money? And so I'm glad he's gone. Hopefully we can bring in somebody better. And thus far, the people we've gotten rid of, it's worked out for the Panthers. They haven't done well elsewhere with the exception of our running back that wound up with the LA Rams.
That 2015 wide receiver draft class, it was complete shit, has turned out to be nothing. You've got Kevin White was in that draft. I mean, he was the number one wide receiver. He's never done anything. Rashad Perryman was a first rounder. I mean, there are several names in there. Amari Cooper is really about the only one.
Kelvin Benjamin.
There was a lot of wide receivers in there that just did not pan out, and they were supposed to be the top of the draft class.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin White being a huge bust. Gosh. But anyways, yes, the Devin Funchess deal I thought was a head scratcher, Robert. If you look at the numbers, the Colts are going to pay him $13 million for a 1-year deal.
That's overpaid.
That's absurd. That's absurd.
Makes no sense to me at all.
When Antonio Brown's only making $3 million more, you're paying Devin Funchess $13 million.
Yeah, Funchess has got nothing to prove to show for it. Goodness, I don't.
But I know you're glad to get rid of him, as I'm sure a lot of.
I hope this is a sign that we can put good pieces back in place. We're getting to the end of a run of some really great players, and it's time for them to go. It's like Greg Olsen, if he has the opportunity to go work for Monday Night Football, which is what Monday Night Football wants. I think now's a great time to do that. You've had three foot injuries in the last 2 years that have crippled your seasons.
Yeah.
You're still physically capable, but clearly something's not right with his foot. Like, you just can't get it right.
Right.
And it could just be the stress and the strain of being a big tight end like that at this point in his career.
Monday Night Football goes from one big tight end to the other.
Well, that big tight end went back to Dallas. He's reactivated.
Did you hear that? Crazy. I did hear that. Yeah.
What's the freaking point? Would you just drop him for a year to bring him back?
Want to relive the glory days, man. They got rid of Cole Beasley, so they need me back. Tony called me.
Tony ain't there, man. Tony ain't there.
You gotta come back.
Tony's in the booth too. Well, and I'm not a Cowboys fan, so the fact that we have all these Cowboys like Troy Aikman and Tony Romo and Jason Witten in the booth, it's like, who the frick cares?
Gosh, I know. Seriously.
My quarterback is making up his own fonts, okay? He is a trend setter and a typesetter.
Yes, he is. And yeah, all the above.
Yeah.
So the Panthers also got a replacement for Matt Khalil, a good center out of Denver too.
Praise the Lord. Maybe we'll give this guy max money too, and he'll break his back.
Oh, they paid him pretty well. I'd tell you that much.
We need a good center. We need good protection, man.
Yeah, gotta have that good protection.
Bye. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, let's finish up some NFL news.
Sure. Teddy Bridgewater may stay in New Orleans after he turned down an initial Dolphins deal, but the word on the street is he's back in Miami and will be there tomorrow also.
Huh, interesting.
Which is, very interesting. So is he going to be the successor to Breeze, or is he looking for other waters? So
one might say warmer waters in Miami.
Yeah, exactly. The Ravens, surprisingly, have been very active in free agency. Not notoriously a team that goes after big free agents, but they signed Earl Thomas to a 4-year deal, just right under the amount that Landon Collins was making. So Earl Thomas got paid. Now he's much older. I think he's closer to 30. They also signed Mark Ingram, and they cut longtime linebacker T. Sizzle, man. I was surprised to see that. He is just like Ray Lewis was, Mr. Raven.
And Joe Flacco gone.
Yeah, and Flacco. Yeah, not to mention him being traded. The Chiefs also cut a longtime player today. Eric Berry is gone after 9 seasons. He was the second on the list with the highest, most guaranteed paid for a safety. But they also added the Honey Badger from the Texans, who had a really good year, continues to play great. So I guess they have an insurance policy there for old Eric Berry. Yeah. So it's kind of good for Barry, but also kind of sad because of what he went through. And the Chiefs, the Chiefs were there for them the entire time with the cancer. It was cancer, wasn't it? Right? He had a bout of cancer, was out.
Was it his or was it a child of his? I don't remember.
I think it was his. He was fighting something for a long time.
Gotcha.
But yeah, man, that pretty much wrapped it up. Wild week in free agency. A lot of other stuff happening, but those were the biggest names out of the week.
Yeah, and we'll see if more crazy foolishness happens yet.
Yeah.
We could talk about the NBA real quick. There's a couple big pieces of news on there. The Golden State Warriors are just falling apart. They lost at Oracle Arena the other night to the Suns.
Ooh,
the worst team in the league.
Ouch.
And they weren't resting any players.
That's bad.
It looks like the Lakers aren't going to make the playoffs. They're 6 games back. 6 games back with 16 games to play.
A lot of talk about trading LeBron, which I thought it was weird.
There's murmurs, but it's just foolishness. It's to keep his name in the news cycle because there's nothing else to talk about. Are you if you're the Lakers, what? LeBron's not the broken wheel there, no. His numbers when he's playing
around him.
Yeah.
Well, I saw that they sat Brandon Ingram for the rest of the year for his injury, and Lonzo out for the year with his injury.
And a big fight in the NBA the other night too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah, I think it if I remember correctly, I don't have the story in front of me. I believe it involves Serge Ibaka, actually.
He's a notorious fighter.
Here,
Bad boy.
Yep, NBA suspends Ibaka 3 games for a fight between Marquise Chris.
Oh man, I do see some fists flying.
Yeah.
Marquise Chris. Yo, Marquise! The motherfucker hit me.
So, but he's got 2 S's at the end of his name. So is it Chris? He adds the sizzle to Chris. Speaking of basketball, it is ACC tournament time.
Yes, sir.
So if you're an SEC fan or any other part of the country, just turn off the podcast now, because this is where we start essentially bragging about how bomb.com our conference is when it comes to college basketball
in the country.
Yeah.
Screw the SEC, screw the Big Ten. They ain't got shit on our basketball conference.
Well, we could get 3 number 1 seeds from this conference. How lit would that be if the Final Four was basically an ACC tournament semifinal?
That would be awesome. I would love that.
Oh my God. An all ACC Final Four? Holy crap.
Yeah, that would be nuts.
Who would be the 4th ACC team? If you had to pick the 4th best team in the ACC, who would it be?
Man, I would say Florida State. Honestly, they've looked really good.
That's interesting.
It's a shocking team. But I don't know if I trust Syracuse. I don't know if I trust who else. Let's see who else has been.
Clemson and Virginia Tech are both good. Virginia Tech is 5th in the tournament bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Florida State at 4.
Okay, so Virginia Tech. Yeah. So yeah, I think the Florida State is the one that I don't see them going to the Final Four.
I don't either.
But if I had to choose, it would be that team. I couldn't pick Louisville either. But yeah, man, great time of year. Quite a comeback today by the NC State Wolfpack. Did you catch that game at all?
I caught it some on the radio. Can you believe that Virginia has only lost 2 games all season, and it's the same team?
I do. Well, they say that they're playing better than last year, and they have a better, they're better defensively and much better offensively. But I don't know, man. I don't think America can trust them after what happened last year, Robert.
Now, I need to get something straight. Carolina was bragging about being the regular season champions this year, and they're not. It's a tie with Virginia.
Yeah.
That's not. Yeah. And Virginia's the better team because they beat you.
I don't hold any weight to that at all.
Oh, I don't know. But you know as well as I do that UNC hangs those banners in the Dean Dome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Regular season champions, as if that means anything.
Co-champions.
Oh, but you were talking about the NC State game. Yeah, so it's impressive that that NC State was able to come back. I know that you're upset about the final call of the game. Clemson should have put it away when they had the chance.
I knew that was coming. God, what an awful foul call.
Let me tell you why that is. Every team gets bad calls. Every team gets bad calls. And every team gets bad calls in the last minute all season. The idea is that eventually it evens out. But the idea is that you'd prefer to be on the positive end of the call.
But it's tournament time, and typically they swallow the whistle in the last minute. And bang plays are going to happen. People are going to get beat up in the paint. Usually they let that stuff slide, but man, this one was close, Robert. I didn't see a foul.
I feel like we have the same conversation in every sport every time there's the playoffs, and it goes either one way. They called it too much. They didn't call it enough.
It's true.
I can't believe they gave that call on Tom Brady. I can't believe they didn't give that call on Jared Goff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, I feel like we have the same conversation over and over again. Until you remove humans from it, there's going to be that.
There are going to be the opinions of it shouldn't have been called and it should have been called. Yeah.
I get something that. Straight. NC State and Clemson were going to get demolished in their next game.
Yeah.
They're playing Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So really, it's just like one team gets to play one more game and both are probably on the bubble for the tournament.
Probably so. Yeah. If they make it. Which
honestly, I hate to say it about State. State played well the first half of the season. They've been garbage the second half.
Yeah.
I don't think they deserve to be in the tournament. And I know that's an unpopular opinion for people here in Raleigh. But even as a State fan, like it's just like you don't deserve to be there. You have not earned it.
There are several other smaller schools that have had good seasons that deserve to be there. Speaking of, our UNCG Spartans were so close to scoring their bid, man.
Almost beat Wofford. Almost did it.
Damn it.
Tyvee went to school at Wofford.
Really?
she was tweeting Bree and I in the game.
Heard. I see that.
She was like, I love y'all 95% of the time, but today you're going down.
Nice. Who tweets anymore?
Sorry, I guess I meant text messages. Sorry.
Oh.
Do I look like I use Twitter?
It's water.
I'm convinced the only people that use Twitter are celebrities.
Yeah, I think
Prove me wrong. I only hear about it from celebrities. I don't talk to any of my friends who are like, so did you see my tweet? It's like, absolutely not.
No, Twitter's been dead for 6 years now.
I don't know, man. Well, here's the secret with Twitter. I think they've got a bunch of bot accounts in a big way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about that.
So let's see here. So it looks like in the tournament, you say here, UNC's either going to face Louisville or Notre Dame, and Duke's going to face Syracuse or Pitt. Either way, Coach K's going to face a former co-coach of his, either with USA Basketball or his former assistant there at Pitt. I think K would much rather play Pitt than Syracuse.
I think so too. Yep.
Because
they 1-1 with Syracuse. Yep. And they have a good team. I mean, Syracuse has a very good team.
Boeheim's a good coach.
Boeheim
they're better than their record. That's what I'll say.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, man, right around the corner, one of my favorite times of the year, man, with the NCAA tournament. It's going to be wild, man. We'll see what upsets happen this year. Could it be another UN in the making? That was so great last year. I can't even begin to make a call like that, like we did last year, a 16 over a 1 seed. But
yeah, God, how embarrassing would it be to be Virginia again?
God, I would love that. I would love that.
Wow, Tony Bennett's team really got murdered out there on the court, and then the real Tony Bennett tweets out, "Don't worry, folks, I wasn't murdered. I made it through." That reminds me of a song of an old Irish lass. Cue the music.
This year they got beat by Watauga Community College for the criminally insane.
Yeah. God. Do you honestly think, though, that they'll do the 3 ACC teams as number 1 seeds?
I honestly do. After Gonzaga lost last night, Tennessee has.
You know what's so funny? ESPN just did a big story on Gonzaga about why you got to watch out for them. That's the death nail. It's the death nail to any good team. It's happened to Duke. It's happened to Duke this season. Now, the last half of the season, Duke's had the injury was
right.
Like again, early in the game against Chapel Hill in the Dean Dome, we lose another one of our starting.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Kidding me?
Yep.
By the way, congratulations to your Tar Heels for sweeping the Blue Devils this year.
Thank you. 2 really good games. I thought the last game was really good too.
They were good, all things considered.
Well, they had that 10-0 run. It scared the hell out of me. Like, oh man, they're really putting it together. And RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish are just going off.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't do it by themselves. They just beyond those two guys, there's not a consistent score. If I was a Duke fan, I would want to see more out of what's his name, Jones, the Jones kid, the point guard.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's stepped up in either one of the games and hasn't done much.
His older brother was the one who we depended on.
Right.
You're right. He has not performed well in the big games, and White, who plays off the bench, he's been lightning in some games, dropping threes, and then in others, nothing. I mean, nothing. And you saw he had no defense against Luke May. I mean, none. He had no answer, and it's like Luke May's not even the biggest guy you're ever going to see in the NBA. You've got to get physical.
No, he's only 6'8". Yeah.
The problem with White is that, and I hate to say this, White isn't an international player, and the international players don't play as hard and as tough as we play here in the States. It's not a popular thing for our international people, but it's the truth. There's a reason why in FIBA and USA, or rather the Olympics basketball, the USA teams just dominate. They even have a different rule set to try and, have more flopping or encourage more of the fake fouls. But, we're a high contact country.
Mm-hmm. Oh, how tall is he, Robert? Is he 6'10"? I mean, he's up there.
Let's see here. What's his bio? Let's see if I've got his height. 6'7". He's 6'7".
Really?
222 pounds. I outweigh this kid.
Well, he got that massive block on Garrison Brooks, man. He got way up there. And Garrison Brooks is 6'10". He's a
really good player. He is.
Yeah.
But he's a junior and he should be further along.
Right.
You know? That's just how I feel. But
so what's the word on the street? Is Zion going to be back for the ACC tournament, or are they holding him for NCAA? Or
so I heard that he was going to play in the ACC tournament. We'll see. Here's the thing: he's got to get reps, man. He's got to get tournament reps. This is what gets you primed for the NCAA.
Yeah, you can't throw him in. That's exactly what I was telling a coworker. That Duke cannot think that they can throw him into the NCAA tournament and think that he's going to hit the ground running. You just won't. That chemistry's not there. I mean, RJ, for God's sakes, has had to put the team on his back since they lost him. So, but
the thing that's helping RJ is that it's reminding the country that he was the number one the number one recruit until Zion came along.
Absolutely. And he was projected in the number one draft pick until Zion, improved his stock. I don't know, Robert, you still got Kentucky in there at 26-5, and they're moving up. If they do well during championship week, they could find themselves at a number one spot. But I don't know, man. It could be Virginia, Duke, and Carolina. So,
but like I said, for the fourth spot, who's going to be that fourth spot? Probably Kentucky. Probably Kentucky.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
Could be if they win their conference championship after Gonzaga has lost.
Well, and LSU's just like gone. That's the other thing we didn't touch on at all. Their coach got caught in the FBI. The FBI is cracking down all over the place. Their coach got caught on the phone talking about offering a crap ton of money to get a player to his school. So he's been suspended.
See, what we're gonna do here is you come on down here to school at LSU. We get you all the ladies that you want. We got the shrimp and grits down here in Battle about your county. Anyway, whatever you want. With a little Creole seasoning on it. Woo!
Oh, bring it on down to the bayou. Have you seen a picture of LSU's coach, Randy?
Yeah, he doesn't look like that.
He's very young. You're sounding more like LSU's former football coach, Les Miles.
Yeah, or their football coach is my favorite. He sounds like the guy from the Water Boy. And he's like, we gotta hit him, and we're gonna come out of the second half. We gotta get the ball, and we're gonna hit it back.
Yep. All right. Well, y'all have
with his pants down. They got some serious issues going on there. And not to get too topical, but the other admissions that got everybody busted this week too. The FBI cracking down on that. A couple of big name celebrities in there too.
Felicity Huffman, Lori Loughlin, and they're not just like brought in for questioning. They have been arrested at gunpoint.
Damn you, Aunt Becky. You were supposed to be the good one.
How dare you? Yeah, apparently they paid $500,000 to get their dumbass kids into the school pretending to be athletes.
And their daughter is like some YouTube celebrity, right? Which I don't know. It's fucking stupid. Okay. And she said all along that she never really cared to go to college. But they paid her in.
No shit. Just get an apartment at USC and hang out, you know?
Seriously. It's like, I just want to like go for like the parties, and I just want to be like film all day long and stuff. Like, I'm not really like into college and going to class, and I just want to make videos.
I'm just really into boys and sometimes girls.
and super cute swimsuits and wedges.
Oh, jeez. We're setting back the women's rights movement like 40 years, Randy.
Dong.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for wasting another hour with Randy and I. I just want to remind you, if you're listening to us on the audio podcast, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ChriscoCast. You can find all of our podcast episodes here and some of the other content that we make on the channel. And if you'd like to support the show, check us out on patreon.com/Chrisco Industries. If you are watching us on YouTube and you don't know about the audio podcast, go check us out. We're on the Google Play Store. We're on iTunes. I think you can find us on Podbean. We're in all those places. Very easy and accessible. Although if you just listen to us, you don't get to see our funny faces. Horrified though they may be. I think that pretty much covers the social media commitment. Randy, as we wrap up here, do you have any sage nuggets of wisdom or lessons that you'd like to give to the children?
Oh, yeah, children. Children and nuggets go hand in hand. If I could stand up right now, I could show you what nuggets I have in my pants.
Oh, man. You know what, Randy? I'm tired of all these FBI wiretaps. They wouldn't even have to wiretap us. This is a public show.
Oh, no. Well, listen, Robert. All I'm trying to say is, if you come on down to my basement, I got some freeze pops that everyone can share.
You're always trying to get me into your basement, Pops.
It's where I have the biggest TV.
Am I not? I feel, you know what? I think I'm a little old for you, if I'm honest.
Well,
just
get that sweet little baby face.
Oh, you know what?
Little beard poking out.
With that level of degeneracy, I don't know where we go from here since we've hit rock bottom. So, for Randy Watkins, I am Robert Jones. This has been the R&R Sports Podcast, and we will see y'all next time.
Peace out.